games. Next, from CBS Sports, in our 36th year of coverage, the National Football League.
Everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. We hope you're enjoying your long holiday weekend, and welcome to the month of December and to our continuing coverage of Week 14 here on the NFL Today. A week ago, we told you 4 divisional leaders had a chance to win their titles, but all of them lost. Well, those same 4 teams get another chance today. More on that later, but first, half an hour to kick off in the early games, and here's who's warming up. In Atlanta, Deion Sanders is getting ready to lead the Falcons against Green Bay. Last Sunday night, Deion and the Falcons upset the Saints. And if Atlanta can keep winning, well, the Falcons are playoff bound. In Miami, Dan Marino is also coming off a big overtime win as he tunes up to face Tampa Bay in pro football's Battle of the Sunshine State. Marino is 186 passing yards shy of a record 8th 3,000-yard season. And in Buffalo, Jim Kelly is looking to rebound from an uncharacteristic performance. Last week, he was sacked 4 times and intercepted 4 times. But a win today over the Jets gives the Bills their 4th straight AFC East title. And looky here, what evil lurks in the mind of this man? We'll show Dr. Bradshaw Stein's latest creation called Robo-QB a little later on. In the playoff picture, the Washington Redskins, the only team officially playoff bound, can clinch the NFC East with a win or a tie against the Rams at Anaheim later today. In the NFC West, a win puts New Orleans in the playoffs, and they can claim their first ever division title with that win coupled with a Falcons loss today. Meanwhile, the Saints will start Steve Walsh for the 5th straight game. Bobby Hebert, recuperating from a shoulder injury, will suit up as the 3rd-string emergency quarterback against the 49ers today. Jim Mora, head coach of New Orleans, told CBS Sports yesterday that Hebert is only throwing at 70%. Now, for the Niners, Steve Bono looked like a bona fide star, passing for over 300 yards Monday night in a blowout over the Rams. Steve Young, however, did practice this week, and he will suit up as Bono's backup. Now, the New Orleans Saints have blown 4th-quarter leads on defense the last couple of weeks, but what's the situation with Steve Walsh and the offense?
Well, I talked to Steve Walsh last night, and 2 things that came out. Number one, he said, yeah, feel the pressure. You have 2 weeks now, and plus the Bears, you know, were losing. They had a chance to get that tiebreaker going their way. The Saints did. So he feels the pressure that they need to get to winning. Number 2, he's frustrated. You know, they're very frustrated with their offense. It's a running offense, and I believe today if they're going to beat the 49ers, the Saints, they're going to have to throw the football. They're going to have to throw it deep, too.
All right, Terry, over in the Central Division, on Thursday, the Lions beat the Bears to even the 2 teams' records at 9-4. Chicago still holds the first 2 tiebreakers, but the Lions hold a 1-game lead in the wild card race. The NFC wild card is still a scramble, starting with whichever team does not win the Central Division. Dallas, which also won Thanksgiving Day, is next in line at 8-5. The Falcons could tie them with a win over Green Bay. And with more, let's head down to Randy Cross in Atlanta. Randy.
Well, Greg, when you're talking playoffs and playoffs contenders here in Atlanta, 3 important categories. First is the quarterback, second is special teams, third is defense. Along the quarterback line, quarterback Chris Miller today has 103 temperature, and Jerry Glanville's told us that he won't play today. And when you're talking special teams for the Falcons, you're talking Bobby April's special teams, and they are special. Look what they've done this year. They've been a real factor in Atlanta's rise. Now, when you're talking quarterback and you're talking a Jerry Glanville team, Jerry Glanville goes after the quarterback. He'll blitz them with linebackers. He'll blitz them with safeties. He'll blitz them with corners. The quarterbacks are the wanted men here in Atlanta today for the Green Bay Packers. It doesn't matter if it's Mike Tomczak. Doesn't matter if it's Blair Keel. It doesn't matter even if it's injured Don Mikowski. Jerry Glanville's defense will attack this Packer offense that really can't run the ball. That's a story here from Atlanta. Greg, back to you in New York.
All right, Randy, thanks very much. So with Chris Miller out, that means that Billy Joe Tolliver starts for Atlanta. Over in the AFC, we said Buffalo can win or tie its way to the title in the East. Even if the Bills lose today, they can at least clinch a playoff berth if Kansas City can beat or tie Seattle later. Our Jim Gray at Rich Stadium has more on the Bills and the Jets.
Here in Buffalo, it's a chilly day. The temperature is in the mid-30s, and it could be some snow by the time the second half arrives. The big story here in Buffalo is the return of Bruce Smith. He had arthroscopic surgery all the way back on July 22nd. He played in Week 5 against the Bears and did further damage to his knee. He will be playing today, and just a short time ago I had the opportunity to speak to him, and I asked him about coming back after such a long absence.
Well, it definitely has been a long time, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very excited about it. Might I add, it's still going to take a little time for everybody to see the old Bruce out there, but I'm going to give it our best shot today.
Mentally, are you prepared? Is it physically? I know you're all right now, but mentally, is it tough to get out there?
Well, I tend to think it's the other way around, not being out there so long, and anytime you come back off some type of surgery, you always have doubts in your mind. So I think the mental part I'll be able to handle. Is the questionable part of I would say my stability, so to speak, that's on my mind right now.
You nervous at all?
Oh, yeah, very nervous.
Smith also told me that he will not push himself today. He doesn't want to risk further injury like he did last time. If things aren't going well, he'll take himself out of the game. For the Jets, they'll be trying to beat the Bills for the first time in 9 tries, as they'll be trying to end Buffalo's 16-game home winning streak. That's the story from here in Buffalo.
All right, Jim, you think Bruce Smith's return affects more than just the defense?
I think it affects the offense. One great dominating defensive player can have a total impact on the entire football team.
All right, Terry, in the Central Division, Houston can clinch its first outright division title by defeating Philadelphia Monday night, or they can go into that game with the crown already in hand should the Browns lose to or tie Indianapolis today. And you can call it the wild card West. The Raiders have the tiebreak advantage over the Broncos, but Kansas City and Seattle are still in the hunt. Meanwhile, Denver quarterback John Elway, suffering from tendonitis in his throwing shoulder, didn't throw in practice and says he can't gun it.
I don't have the strength that I've had in it, and, you know, I think that it's difficult for me to run and throw off balance and do those things that I usually do with it. So, you know, that's kind of gone from the game. So my feet have to be pretty well set, or I got to be, my feet have to be underneath me to throw it on the run.
What does he mean his feet have to be underneath him?
He has to be balanced. He has to be set to have the perfect delivery. He can't throw off balance. When you throw off balance, you strain every part of your body. You're not throwing naturally. So one of the problems is that if you take Elway, you take away his scrambling, you have done nothing but the defensive coordinators go, oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So it really plays to the defense's advantage that Elway has this problem. Also, more interceptions if you have a bad shoulder.
All right, Terry, Elway's playing status today is a game-time decision. Gary Kubiak is Elway's backup. Now, Green Bay's Lindy Infante is in hot water with a new boss scrutinizing his 3-9 record. Today is Ron Wolf's first game as the Packers' executive vice president and general manager, and CBS Sports has learned that Wolf has a specific clause in his contract giving him authority to fire the head coach. Coming up, Leslie Visser speaks with Phil Simms, who's now shouldering the Giants' playoff hopes. That story and more when we continue live from New York on the NFL Today.
The NFL Today is sponsored by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Charles Schwab, helping investors help themselves. And by The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
It's been called the Devil's Roller Coaster. A course so brutal, it sends brake temperatures in excess of 700 degrees. Only here could BMW perfect the advanced anti-lock brakes of the 535i. A car Road and Track found to be the fastest stopping four-door sedan on Earth.
You have a different view of life. You don't want to get bogged down in revolving credit on bank cards. All that revolving debt, all that outrageous interest. This is not for you. You know how to get out of that trap. The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Dave Thomas traveled the world looking for new food ideas. What if it's for Wendy's?
I could really go for a Big Dave's Deluxe.
A quarter pound of fresh beef cheese, 3 strips of bacon, sauteed onions, the works, only at Wendy's.
Is this what I ordered?
Today, Tech Tread Shoe Corporation announced a major retail expansion in 25 U.S. cities.
When I see a company that looks like a good investment, I check it out myself.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
At Charles Schwab, I can get quotes, financial news, and when I make a trade, commission savings.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
Well, Terry's been wondering when we're going to get a look at that satellite weather picture. Here you go, Bradshaw. Clouds extending from the northeast all the way west to the Rockies, which means at Mile High Stadium, it'll be cold and cloudy for the Patriots and Broncos. And later this afternoon, the Giants and the Bengals will be playing in the rain at Riverfront Stadium. Leslie Visser joins us now, and this week she talked with a familiar face who's back at a familiar place. Leslie?
Greg, the Giants quarterback saga has come full circle. It's been almost a year since Phil Simms ran the show for the New York Giants, and during that time, he concealed an inner frustration with outward class.
Simms for Baker. Caught! Touchdown! And how good do you think Phil Simms feels?
I ran up to him. Someone made comments, says, you were the first one to him, you know, it looked like you congratulated him. I said, no, I was telling him to slow down or he was going to pull something.
That's Bart, yeah. He's a lawyer, though, so we know how to take his comments, take them and throw them out. So, yeah, you know, Bart, I think he always gets on me about that. And I always say, I said 2 years ago that I'd never do that again, and I think about it, but when something happens, I can't help it.
Had you imagined this scenario, or were you kind of in the back of your head looking toward next year?
I don't know. I think as the season goes along, I got a little more, I don't want to say nervous, but thinking Jeff was getting beat around a little, so I knew I better be ready. A couple times he went down during a game and laid there, and I went to get my helmet. I thought I meant to go in, and he finally got up. And after that would happen, he would stay in the game. I would say, was I ready to go in? And I wondered, so that made me start working a little harder and paying attention a little more.
Did you add anything for this week, a little more film study or a little work in the weight room?
Yeah, film study. I've gone over everything a lot. You know, I've done that, and I'm tired of it already. I mean, I'm tired now. But yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to cover every situation that could possibly come up for me. And you know what? I realize I'm not going to be able to do it. A lot of it I'm going to have to learn again on the field.
If Jeff does heal in 3 or 4 weeks, do you feel that it will again have become your team, or you're going to go through all that again?
It's nobody's team. I mean, it's not my team. It's whoever's team the coach decides to put in it. Yeah, when Jeff heals, and hopefully that'll be soon, we'll address that when it comes. Not will. Ray Handley will address it.
How have you felt that Ray Handley's handled this year?
I think Ray's done a pretty good job. You know, he was, I shouldn't say he's done it, you know, I don't say that about my head coach. He's done a great job.
How was he this week? Were there any awkward moments between you two?
No, none at all. You know, he's upbeat, but he's nervous. He was always nervous last year, every game. He went into every game saying, boy, I hope I can get a completion. And he never takes anything for granted.
Just this extra, you know, 10, 11, 12 weeks to heal and really not take any hits has done my body a lot of good. So.
Yeah, is it great not to hurt on Monday morning?
Well, it's that part is good, not to hurt, but usually on Monday morning, it's a good hurt.
How do you feel about sort of now you're the toast of the town again?
Being the toast of the town, maybe it is true. The backup quarterback, everybody loves him. So
you don't want to go back to that, though.
No, I'd rather be hated. There's some times in life that you don't want people to like you. Maybe that's one of them.
The players say they really don't care who's in at quarterback. Pepper Johnson says he has a 1986 Super Bowl ring, courtesy of Phil, and a 1991 Super Bowl ring, courtesy of Jeff. So it really doesn't matter to them, Greg.
Yeah, you know, Ray Handley's had his share of problems this year, but Phil Simms' approach to this whole situation hasn't been one of them. He's handled it well. Of course, Jeff Hostetler is home today. Updating the other key Giant injury, Lawrence Taylor will be placed on the inactive list with a sprained ligament in his left knee. LT had missed just 1 game in 11 seasons prior to today. He will not be in uniform. What does that do? You're taking a leader off the field, but what does that do to the Giant defense?
Well, a couple of things. Position-wise, Steve Diossi will come in and play the right inside, strong inside linebacker spot, which is like a 4-3 middle linebacker, and then he started there, played a lot last year, so nothing lost there. Pepper going to the outside now, and Lawrence Taylor's position, the right outside linebacker. Once again, a guy that had 4.5 sacks last week. I think he'll do a fine job. Maybe not as aggressive as Lawrence, so teams won't run reverses, but I think the Giants defensively are going to be in good shape. You got to have a leader. Look for Leonard Marshall to come through and be your leader.
All right, Terry, when we come back, we'll show you some NFL coaches who are really upset and it's not the taste of their Thanksgiving leftovers. Pat O'Brien takes us around the NFL next.
In 1908, one of the favorites in the great New York to Paris race was a motor car built by Siemens. That was then. This is now. Today, Siemens builds over 700 automotive products, from fuel injectors and microprocessors to halogen headlights. Siemens, creating technologies to keep America and the world moving in the right direction. Siemens, precision thinking.
The kids really like their Radio Shack electronic games. He won't put them down. John is glued to his sea battle. Amy's into her speedway game. Ken just keeps playing his football game. Guess that leaves me with nothing much on my hands. Except LCD Golf. Hole in one! Wow!
Over 20 exciting electronic games from $6.95.
Radio Shack American Technology Store.
This holiday, MasterCard helps you give the people on your list their favorite things with the Master Values program. Save 10 to 25% on specially featured merchandise when you use MasterCard for clothing to housewares at Kmart, the latest music at Sam Goody and Musicland, and wherever you find Happy Holidays Barbie. Look for Master Values at fine stores everywhere, only from MasterCard. Think of it as our holiday gift to you.
I can't, no, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on. Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
Well, you know how the kids are sitting around the fireplace saying, when's Pat O'Brien going to come on?
Mine aren't.
There he is.
Neither is mine. Thank you, fellas. December kind of snuck up on us, didn't it? And you know what that means. Ugly sweaters, politicians shopping, and on every channel, Jimmy Stewart. And so those of us who put to bed our little Sunday supplement, well, we feel it is a wonderful life, and our hearts go out to those coaches and players who might ignore the fact that we're making our list of who's been naughty and who's been nice.
Time to spread a little cheer, and we did check with the commissioner, and yes, this is legal.
There we go.
And so is this. Even in syndication, the great one still got all the moves. And the honeymoon continues in New England for Coach Dick McPherson, who joined another Friars club.
I'd give him a 10, definitely. I've never seen a coach so enthusiastic. I've never seen a coach quite the way Coach Mack is.
He has great cheerleading technique. He does great jumps, but he doesn't get very high off the ground. He kind of, he needs to get a little bit more air on his jumps. Other than that, he'd be a great cheerleader, I think.
Welcome to Mr. Ditka's neighborhood. Can you say it's only a game? I knew you could.
This game was for the Central Division, and it very may well have been. That's a cop-out. Don't ask me stupid questions. That's so... Give me a break. This ain't the first time I've been upset, but I'm upset. There will be nobody more open than the people we had open. Final.
Next week, we'll drop in and see how Mr. Hanley's neighborhood is doing. All right, back to football. In Kansas City, we know it's the season to give, but folks, this is ridiculous. 9 turnovers in 2 games have turned the Chiefs from contenders into pretenders. And even here in the Show Me State, Marty Schottenheimer has, thank you, seen enough.
We played what I call rat trap football, and that's a direct reflection upon me, and that, frankly, upsets me.
Get a grip, Marty. This photo opportunity features Joe Gibbs and his other team, his NASCAR team. And Joe, a quick reminder, Super Bowl 26 in January, Daytona 500 in February, right here on CBS. And that's Jerry Glanville taking this thing a step further. And let me tell you, keep driving like that, Coach, and you will see Elvis. Meantime, Giants receiver Stephen Baker got tired this week of getting his car radio ripped off in New York. But one thing's for sure, Baker is not petty.
They're going to be rookies in this particular situation. And it took some of us 35 years to learn, and they know it's going to be a long, long time to learn what's going on in racing. Now back to you, Pat, in the pit.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And the former Pittsburgh Pirate quarterback. Talking about Ditka, though, and we have a little fun with him. But you know where you stand with that guy, don't you?
Yeah, if you're a coach, you would. I had a coach like that. I knew where I stood with my coach, and I think Ditka's like that. I think Dan Reeves out in Denver's like that. He kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves, and I think, it's nothing wrong with it. People like to know people are being themselves. There's so much phoniness in this business and in that business, trying to put on that good face, that it's nice to see Ditka kick a camera and jump on a player. That's just being natural.
We should remember. I'm going to write Pittsburgh Steelers 100 times now.
Steelers.
Oh, we should remember that he was upset with Dent for badgering. Richard Dent was badgering the officials.
Yeah, he says, I'll handle the officials. You stay out of it.
Yeah, you're an expert in the field.
Four.
Next up, we'll introduce you to Terry's dream quarterback. He goes by the name of Robo QB. You'll meet him next on the NFL Today.
Everyone has a dream, a vision deep inside.
When I decide to follow up on an investing idea, I need a broker who's ready when I am.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
I can call Schwab at any hour, nights or weekends, get the information I need, even place an order to trade.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
Darling, after 10 years, the only thing I'd change about you is your clothes.
Bugle boy.
Why don't you try this one on first?
Once again, BMW takes the luxury sedan where it's never been before. The 750iL with ASC plus T, automatic stability control plus traction. Every second, computers monitor wheel slippage and apply up to 100 engine and brake adjustments, helping keep the driver in control, proving the difference between an ordinary sedan and the ultimate driving machine.
Cinematic genius alert here now. I know, Terry, you have often said that there are a few great quarterbacks around the league, but no one who could do it all, until now, that is.
You know, Gregory, just the other day I was flying out here, and you know how it is when you're on planes. I was just kind of doodling, and we must have been somewhere over Louisiana when I had this weird dream. You know how it is when your subconscious mind has been working on a problem, and as you said, I've been trying to create the ultimate quarterback.
Igor, tonight we're going to make history. We're going to create the perfect quarterback. Some say he's already played the game. First of all, I have a great quarterback. We must have the body of a great quarterback. Give me the body of Troy Aikman of the Dallas Cowboys. Big, strong, 6'3", 220. Amazing. Now I've got a body. Give me some legs. Give me the legs of Randall Cunningham. Feet come with it. Boy, can he run with that football. A lot of times you get away from the blitz, you got to be able to run. This guy can fly. Igor, now we need the wrist of Dan Marino, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Quick release, beats a lot of blitzes. Now I've got a wrist. Oh, what do we dream about? What do we search for months now? An arm so strong that can go 80 yards into the wind, that can run and throw it across the field. Give me John Elway, quarterback of the Denver Broncos. Give me his arm. Now, I want the eyes of Bernie Kosar because he can see so well. Doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. Great vision. Now, give me the heart of Phil Simms. He never quits. You can always count on him. The guy is a champion. He wants to win. People rally around him. What a leader. Now I've got his heart. Now, give me a nature. And give me Jim Kelly, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. Man, does he love to go deep. A guy that likes to bomb it away. Jim Kelly, he's my bombardier. And now put it all together. Give me a mind of Joe Montana. A guy that can take me on a 2-minute drill anytime, anywhere, in the biggest games and win them. Give me Joe Montana's mind. Hardest part? Put it all together.
Well, it certainly is easier if you've got the playbook and some able assistance from old Eagle Eye Igor.
Tell Terry I'm flattered, but I need to have him back by Sunday.
Well, you know, everything is going along there pretty well, but then I realized I had forgotten something. Now, here I've gone and assembled the most precious parts money can buy, and that's just where I went wrong. I was putting my final stamp on this creature of quarterbacking perfection. Why, we were just 500,000 volts away when I got the real shock. His salary demands.
I didn't think about that.
Well, we know where you got your spare parts. Almost every one of those guys is on the shelf right now.
I know. Where have we gone? Yeah, but here's the thing about a robo quarterback, see, Greg, is that there are such things as spare parts. I got me a Warren Moon arm back there. He could have been part of this. I got me a Jay Schrader arm. I got a quick release of Jeff George. I got a, what else I got back there? Hey, Mark Rippon's back there, Hart and mine. I got lots of spare parts I can bring out.
Yeah, meanwhile, for me, it's like working with Olivier here. We'll be back in just a moment.
You really mean that?
No.
You bought a what? For a dog? Well, it's your dog. It's your life. The card. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Tonight, it's murder by committee. But who pulled the trigger?
You are in very serious, serious trouble.
On Murder, She Wrote. Then, Hallmark Hall of Fame presents a true story. She gave up her family and the man she loved.
I won't forget you.
To fight for the freedom of others, one against the wind.
Hi, I'm Paula Zahn. Harry?
Yo, Paula, I'm here in Hollywood on the set of Murphy Brown. I'll tell you all about it Monday on CBS This Morning.
It's breakfast for your head.